Na 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 Batman.
It's Lego Batman.
Yeah, you know what
It must be great to be Batman.
Batman, we love you!
Thank you. I'm blushing super hard under the mask.
Batman!
Prego.
Thanks, Batman!
Yeah,
I can only imagine he's going home right now to party the night away, surrounded by friends and lady activewear models.
Hey, computer. I'm home. I'm home. I'm home.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do.
Lego Batman. Today, I'm joined by Jordan Marvin's Battersby, the biggest Batman fan I know, frankly.
AKA Batty, AKA Mad Bat. Choose
So-
big.
She's into it. If you could, would you give us a quick recap of the story here?
I would love to, TJ. Batman is pretty much, the Lego Batman. It's Batman in Lego form. The movie goes on, it introduces us to, Batman and his life in Gotham, and it shows us, him battling his criminals, with a little touch of him trying to understand what it's like to actually have a family. And he has an adopted son. He tries to figure out how does he actually, have a son, and how does he work with that? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Man, it's interesting because yeah, objectively, this is a well-made movie. It's got
it
a lot
is.
of
It's a really
nice
good.
meaning things. The humor is definitely on the it's for kids, of course.
It's definitely for kids. I came into this thinking it'd be like the Lego Movie, where it's for
Right.
kids and adults.
Right.
And I kid you not, I saw more kids than I saw in Lego Movie. I saw tons of adults, but
Sure.
and for this one, just kids. And I'm like,
Well, and I think the humor
okay.
was actually was much more turned towards the kid jokes, the really easy
Yeah.
jokes, and maybe, and it made me feel old. I was just maybe I'm just too old for this movie. But yeah, a lot of the jokes are very, very easy go-to things.
They were.
But it's really well-meaning, and it's hard for me because as a movie, it's fine, and I can recognize its quality. But there's this weird thing where they keep making fun of Batman.
they made the
fans.
exact same jokes over and over
Oh my
again.
gosh.
I mean,
It's
not that they weren't good jokes, but after a while, just we've heard it once, you hear it 1,000 times, honestly.
Oh my god, yeah, and the ongoing joke with where he has a relationship with the Joker, but it's maybe it's that old joke oh, heroes and villains actually love each other and not hate each other, which
I feel like they did that just for the fans that like shipping those two.
well they even
together.
say he's I'm not into ships.
I
And it's
Yep.
and which is just kind of weird, and also this joke was on the Venture Brothers, and they've done it much better because they had the time to actually play it out.
Exactly.
Where the Joker doesn't really have enough screen time for it to be more than just an awkward sort of one.
Joker never really has enough screen time with anything.
Well, I mean, I thought he was fine. Honestly, Zach Galifianakis as the Joker didn't quite hit it for me. I thought he did fine, but he's never gonna be anyone's favorite Joker. It's still Mark Hamill's got the throne, Heath Ledger. Those are always he doesn't measure up to them in any way. He's not as I know this is gonna sound so weird, but he's not as memorable as Suicide Squad's Joker, even though he was god awful.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
There was still
there
still a voice to it. There was still a uniqueness to the character that this one felt very bland and sort of watered
Like I
down.
said with Harley Quinn before we were talking, it was hard for me to pinpoint which one were they referring to. I mean, she changed her costume all the time. I mean, yeah, that's Harley Quinn. She changes her costume, but you're okay, I see Suicide Squad, I see Arkham Asylum, I see the original. I'm which one is it? I felt the exact same thing with this Joker. I was okay, it's a new guy, a new person voicing him. But which Joker are you referring to?
Yeah, well, and it's weird because they make it very clear with Lego Batman's identity, who he is. He's a commentary on Batman as a whole.
Yeah.
Right? But he has his own look and personality that you can pretty easily separate from any other canon Batman. And it was weird that they didn't do that with some of the other characters as well.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Robin fan. Like, Dick Grayson's
Dick
basically
Grayson's your favorite?
my favorite DC character. So this was
Yeah,
kind of
Dick
painful
Grayson's
to
great.
watch from that perspective.
Oh, they destroyed him. They just destroyed him. I mean,
Even his design is based off of Frank Miller's Dark Knight, and
Yeah.
that Robin, I can't remember her name, but like that's the only thing she exists in, and she's the only one with that costume with the big green glasses and the shorts and stuff. So I felt like they started the movie intending for Batman to be her, or Robin to be her, and then at the last second switched it to being Dick Grayson. And it just doesn't work for me, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be Dick Grayson when they played the trailer and I saw him. I mean, his persona, I was like, this has got to be Dick Grayson, especially since they said your son. I'm like, wait a second, is this Damian Wayne?
Yeah!
That's what I thought when it said son. I'm like, wait a second, are we going to have Talia in here and Ra's al Ghul? I'm like, this is going to be great if they come in.
Random deep cut.
Random deep cut, and then it won't be a children's movie, that's for sure. But yeah, I agree with you. I was a little like iffy on this. Like,
Yeah,
that's not the Dick Grayson I know.
Absolutely not. And for a movie that's like very much like about inclusion and trying to have all these team building elements and each person's valuable, it's almost he's almost like a caricature of like a gay person in it. It's super uncomfortable for me. Like when
he rips off the pants.
Well, it just feels like
let's go, Batman.
like an unnecessary, like a joke people made about Robin in the 60s for the 60s show, and it's like that's how dated that joke is.
This Robin reminded me of the Robin in Teen Titans Go, which is
a spoof, like a joke character.
Yeah, the Teen Titans. I mean, I was just like, this is a joke.
Yeah, I've been watching a bit of that, and he's much more serious and like, I don't know. It didn't do it for me. I don't know. This movie's hard to talk about.
It's very hard to talk about.
The plot is all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it goes all over the place. You start it out with thinking, oh, this is going to be like, like a classic comic book Batman thing. We get a snippet of him battling villains. But then, we have that whole incident with him making the Joker cry. And I was like, wait, what's going on?
Don't go too far into spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
But like, yeah. No, and that's pretty early in the film, so I don't feel like that's like a big spoiler or anything. But it is weird.
It's super weird. I mean, it went all over the place, and I was glad they brought Robin in, because I'm like, oh, okay, we get a little bit of a snippet of what it's like for Batman to have a family, because that's a big issue for Batman. Is battling with it.
And I thought they actually did more with that than they've done in any of the other movies. Like even in the more serious versions of Batman, they never tackle his isolation as an issue. It's always been like positive for him in a way.
Touched on it like briefly in Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Just briefly.
But there's none of that. There's very little of the like lasting impact or beyond like just showing his parents dying over and over again.
Yeah.
Which I felt like there were moments in this where like I felt like I had empathy for Batman and how like he has created this isolation for himself.
So wait, you felt empathy for him during this film?
Yeah. It took a long time.
Oh.
It took a long time.
Like, okay, because I didn't feel anything for him. I was just like, it's another Batman. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I thought they did a decent. Right near the end, there was like a moment at least where I was like, okay, well that makes some amount of sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. This movie's tough.
It's a tough movie. I mean, you have to see it from a movie's perspective and then a fan's perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very hard for like Batman fans. We go into this going, yes, another Batman movie, and then you're just like, what is this?
Well, I'm a huge fan of the Bat family. I like that there's this whole like support
Death
structure
of the Bat
around.
Family. I mean,
and
great comics.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to see them introduced into the movies in a successful way, not in a Joel Schumacher way. But
don't even mention it, man.
Yeah, but then it was like, oh, cool, we get to see Robin and Batgirl, and then it was like, but they're not them. They're different characters who wear the same persona, like clothes as them, but they're nothing like them. So it's hard to root one way or the other. It's like, yay, they're here, but it's not them. So it's, I don't know, it's tough. Let's go ahead and we'll do recommends, don't recommends, and then we'll move on to the spoiler section where we can really dig in on this.
Yeah, let's do that. So I mean, I'm a Batman fan, so of course I'm going to recommend it. But I will say, do not have high hopes for it. You will enjoy this movie, but it will not be one of those movies that you're going to immediately go out and buy because you're like, it's a Batman movie, I'm going to put this on my shelf. So, but I would go out and see it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I would say as a movie, this is a well-made movie. It's a well-meaning movie in a lot of ways. just from a filmgoer standpoint, I'd say, yeah, go check it out. It trends younger, so don't expect it to be like kids and adults. It's mostly for kids, but as a comics fan, I've never had a movie try so hard to make me not like it. There are many points in the narrative where they're basically telling you if you are at all not a child and enjoy comics, like, you're dumb. Like, and for me, like, that sucks. I really enjoy comics as a medium. I think that it's a legitimate art form inside and outside of superhero comics. It's not all necessarily just for, like, 12 and under. I love that Lego Batman is. I just would have enjoyed it more if it just didn't have those insulting moments in it and just let it be its own thing. Like, I want to enjoy it. I'm there to support it. And it's basically they made a straw man out of people like me, and I hate that. They were like, this isn't for you right off the bat, when me and the majority of people I know knew it wasn't for us. It's for kids. Of course it's for kids. We're used to seeing this stuff as it's supposed to be presented, and especially for a Lego movie. It was like they wanted to make a straw man to make a point that didn't need to be made. So it's like a good movie that attacked me a lot during it. So it's a recommend overall, but like if you are a comics fan, expect to walk out of it with like really weird mixed feelings.
Yeah, definitely
And,
really weird mixed feelings on that.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to go home and then indulge yourself in the good Batman comic books and play some of the Batman Arkham games to get that out of your head.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
yeah. So again, it's a good movie. It's a solid movie. It's a kids movie. It makes a lot of weird, deep cut jokes that I guess you could enjoy if you're an older audience. But if you're like a Batman fan, you might feel a little attacked in a weird way, which I didn't expect at all. So. Anyway, that's Stubtown spoiler-free this week. We're going to head on over to the spoiler section, kind of dig in on the plot a little more. So tune in, same bat time, same bat channel.